Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. One of the main reasons I think home cooking is so important because you are not only able to eat what you like to eat, but you can also adjust the amount of calorie that you want to consume. This is far more difficult when you eat out. The saying goes is that when you eat out, you usually consume at least 30% more calorie than when you were eating at home. This video, I demonstrated a salmon and shrimp dish with lo mein. Not only I can control how much calorie that I want to put into the dish, I can even make further modifications to reduce the amount of calories if this is what I want to do. Okay, so let's go into the kitchen and see what we could do. I start cooking this dish first by pan frying the salmon and the shrimp in a shallow layer of oil. I coat both the shrimp and the salmon in the beginning with a light coating of cornstarch. This will give them a crispy texture. This frying method is also known as shallow frying, which is very similar to deep fry except you use a very small amount of oil. You fry the shrimp and the salmon on one side first, and then you turn them around and you fry the other side. For this dish, I'm going to use 6 ounces of salmon and 4 ounces of shrimp. For the salmon, after I bring them back from the supermarket, I usually cut them up into size as this, and then I store them in Ziploc bag and I freeze them. This makes them much easier to thaw out and also faster to cook. And the small size do not affect the quality of the cooked salmon at all. This amount of salmon turned out just about right. My wife loves salmon, but I'm not as much, so she will eat more salmon and I will eat more shrimp. This turned out to be a great way to cook them because I can cook both of them at the same time. The shrimp takes a little bit shorter time to cook than the salmon, so I usually pick up the shrimp when the salmon still require a little bit more cooking. My wife loves salmon not just because of its flavor, but also because of its nutritional quality. Salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which has many health benefits. Following is a list of the significant health benefits of omega-3 fatty acid. So I'm going to set the shrimp and salmon aside, and next I'm going to cook the broccoli. I'm going to use 12 ounces of broccoli. I did not add any extra oil to the wok. I'm going to use whatever oil that's remaining in the wok because I want to use as little oil as possible in my stir fry. However, you notice that the broccoli sucked up the oil really fast, so I better add some more oil to prevent it getting burned. Broccoli is the main ingredient of this dish. I cook broccoli about 3 or 4 times a week, and I usually buy them and I prep them in advance. By having them already to be used, it really cuts down the time you spend on cooking. As you can see that I try to use as little oil as possible. At this point, I just add a touch of oil to make sure that the floret did not get burned. And I often adjust the heat of the stove to make sure that it does not get too hot. However, a little bit charring on the surface of the broccoli is not a bad idea. It enhances flavor. Next, I'm going to add the bell pepper. I'm going to add the bell pepper of 3 different colors to enhance the appearance of the dish. I add some water to steam the vegetable a little bit further. I also use the water to create a sauce for the dish. I like my broccoli that with the floret relatively soft, but I like the stem to be crunchy. So it's a combination between stir fry and steaming will allow you to achieve this texture. So the next is I'm going to season the dish. This seasoning is more of a traditional Cantonese style with the use of oyster sauce to increase the savoriness of the dish, and this is followed by addition of a small amount of hoisin sauce to give it a little bit of sweetness to the dish. This serves as the foundation of the flavoring, and I'm going to make modifications along the way by adding the other seasoning agents. Instead of using salt to provide saltiness to the dish, I'm going to use soy sauce. I'm going to start out with a little bit of a dark soy sauce to give a color to the dish. And then I'm going to follow by using some light soy sauce. And then I follow by using some of my basic seasoning mix. This mainly to increase the umami flavor of the dish. If you want to know more about the individual components in this seasoning mix, you can take a look at this video. This is one of my most basic seasoning strategy, and both my wife and I like this. I then did a taste test and decide what else changes that I need to make. It seems tastes great to me, so the next step is that I'm going to add more water because I want to make a larger amount of sauce. So I'm going to thicken the sauce by sprinkle some cornstarch directly over the food ingredients. At this point, I turn the heat to low or shut it off completely because if the heat is too high, the cornstarch tends to lump together. And as you notice that the cornstarch starts to thicken very rapidly, but it is not a very thick sauce, which I really do not want it to be. Next, I'm going to add 9 ounces of angel hair pasta noodles. It turned out that these noodles work very well for this dish. This noodle actually work as well as any other Asian noodles that I have tried in the past. The next step, I'm going to mix the noodle in with the vegetable and the sauce. People always ask me what's the difference between chow mein and lo mein. Chow mein, you actually fry the noodles slightly, but lo mein, you actually like what I'm doing here. Lo is just the word means a mix. You just mix the noodles with the ingredients, and what you try to do is that the noodle will pick up the sauce from the food ingredients. I normally cook these noodles in advance, and I store them in the refrigerator. They have pretty good shelf life. Usually I can store them for up to a week. They makes it much more convenient when you're ready to cook the dish. You can just pull it out from the refrigerator. So with a few quick mix, the dish is done. The total cook time of this dish is a little bit over 12 minutes. So I'm now going to transfer this dish onto a serving plate. The consistency of the sauce turned out to be quite important. You don't want it to be too fluid, but you also do not want it to be too thick. It should be just enough to coat the noodles. So the final step to assemble this dish is for me to transfer the salmon as well as the shrimp, and I'm going to put them right on top over the noodles and the vegetables. As you can see here, the advantage of cooking the salmon and the shrimp separately is this will allow me to cook them to the exact texture that I want, because otherwise, if I cook them all together, I might end up overcook the shrimp and the salmon. My wife and I did very well with this dish. We ate everything except we just left a little bit for our kiddies. So let's take a look at how we did nutritionally. This dish has 1132 calories, and as probably you expected, most of the calorie come from the pasta. Salmon provide quite a bit of contribution to its calorie, and surprisingly, as you go down the list, canola oil also are quite significant. But the broccoli, for 12 ounces of broccoli, it only provides 120 calories. The shrimp is excellent. For 4-ounce shrimps, it's only 112 calories. So the rest of it is whatever they take to make this dish. So the question that if you want to do better from the calorie standpoint, what would you cut? So I can drop it down to 870 calorie without affecting the character of the dish. Of course, the first place I can cut is the pasta by reducing down to 6 ounces. And I can also drop the salmon to 4 ounces. And if I use less canola oil, this will actually shave off almost 300 calories. In this video, I want to use this dish as a demonstration to show you why home cooking is much healthier than you eating out. When you use the fast cooking system with flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking, you have many possibilities to create a wide variety of dishes. If you're following the 4 factors that I listed below, you can eat almost anything that you want. First of all, always cook with whole food. And secondly, cook food that are interesting to you. And third is that always cook food with low calorie. And last is to cook food have a lot of diversities in ingredients. If you eat food like this, it is far more likely for you to be able to control and maintain your body weight. And you will have a far fewer chances for you to suffer chronic diseases later in life. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.